Short, got it back, ties it with three. Gonzaga has time to do something. Suggs for the win. Oh yes! Unbelievable! The perfect season remains on go.
Jalen Suggs came out of high school as a 5-star point guard prospect. He also had offers to play quarterback for some pretty major schools including Ohio State and Georgia, but ultimately Suggs chose basketball and committed to Gonzaga. Suggs was a big part of Gonzaga making an undefeated run all the way to the NCAA championship game. On most nights he stuffed the stat sheet, but he also sprinkled in some low output nights just to give people some second thoughts. Despite that, Suggs will likely be a top 4 pick in the 2021 NBA draft and may even get some consideration as the number 1 pick. One of Suggs' biggest strengths is his passing vision as well as his execution on passes. I don't want to sound too much like a crusty old scout, but you have to believe that some of this is related to his success as a quarterback. Suggs can dissect the defense quickly on the move and zip passes into windows that others may not be able to. Suggs throws some of the most beautiful outlet passes in transition, but also does a good job in the half court. Suggs is versatile enough to be used either as a primary or secondary playmaker. He'll rack up assists in the NBA regardless of where you put him. Another strength for Suggs is his high basketball IQ. Suggs is a guy that doesn't take time to think about what he's going to do. What I mean by that is, he just processes what's in front of him very quickly. If he sees a guy going under a screen, he immediately knows to set up and fire away. If he sees a hedge on a pick and roll, he's able to keep the attention of both defenders and hit his teammate for an easy bucket. He's also strong on the defensive end in this department, knowing when to switch and when to hang with his man throughout the defensive possession. Suggs will fit right into almost any scheme at the next level. One final strength for Suggs is how hard he plays. A guy with Suggs' talent and athleticism could easily coast during games, take some plays off, and no one would really know the difference. But Suggs is not wired that way. He plays as hard as he can all the time. He is constantly putting pressure on the defense with his bullying drives to the rim. And on defense, he racks up steals, blocks, and rebounds in ways that most guards don't. Suggs hustles hard and uses his physical gifts to reap the rewards of it. The first weakness I have for Suggs is more of a question than a weakness, and it's related to his shot. Suggs has a compact shot that appears pretty replicable, and he doesn't seem shy about firing away off the catch or off the dribble if he's open enough. But outside of one game against Iowa where he went absolutely scorched earth from beyond the arc, he's been a pretty average to below average outside shooter, making just under 30% of his threes outside of that game. Suggs will have to prove that he is a consistent shooter, or else he could risk falling into the Rajon Rondo zone. It's entirely possible that Suggs is truly an upper 30% from 3 type shooter, but to this point it looks more like he's a streaky outside shooter. Another weakness for Suggs is that he is a little slow moving laterally on the perimeter. This one is honestly a bit surprising since Suggs is a pretty good athlete overall, but it seems like all too often Suggs is getting beat off the dribble or struggling to maintain his balance on a closeout. With Suggs' athletic ability in mind, I think it may have something to do with his technique. He is very aggressive on the ball. It's possible he's just being too aggressive and taking bad angles on the defensive end. Either way, this is something Suggs will need to work on. Getting steals and deflections is great, but there are times you just need to be able to keep your man in front of you. One final weakness is Suggs tends to get into foul trouble. I believe this is due to a combination of how hard he plays and his issues staying in front on the defensive end. If you can't slide your feet quickly enough, you're going to pick up cheap fouls. Additionally, if you play aggressively, sometimes you're going to pick up fouls playing hard for blocks and steals. This weakness is something Suggs can mitigate by working on his lateral quickness on defense. There may be some that say that he should just throttle down the effort a bit at times, but I'm not really the type of person to tell an athlete, or anyone, that they shouldn't play as hard as they can. This first clip really shows off his vision and ability as a passer despite not resulting in an assist. Suggs picks up the defensive rebound on the near side of the court. He takes a couple dribbles and fires a perfect bounce pass through traffic. His teammate doesn't finish, but the play ends in free throws. The most impressive thing for me about this play is when Suggs decides to throw the pass. His teammate is completely blocked by a defender, but he perfectly anticipates where he needs to put the ball to set his teammate up and executes. This next clip gives us a good look at Suggs' IQ as a basketball player. The play starts with a simple pick and roll action out on the wing. Suggs' teammate rolls quickly to the basket as San Francisco gets caught between switching and hedging. Suggs immediately recognizes the confusion, attacks the gap, then fires a pass to the open roll man for an and-one opportunity. It's plays like this that show the type of playmaker Suggs is capable of becoming at the NBA level. This last clip lets us see two of Suggs' biggest weaknesses in action at once, his slow feet on the perimeter and his foul issues. The play starts with the ball swinging to his man at the top of the key. His opponent then makes a fairly simple move to the basket that easily helps him get a step on Suggs. Suggs then tries to salvage the play by reaching his hands out and gives up a cheap foul. For Suggs to be a consistent high-level defender, he'll have to improve his ability to stay in front and not rely on physicality. Jalen Suggs is a very talented player that in all likelihood will hear his name called in the top 4 of the 2021 NBA draft. Suggs is already a gifted passer, plays incredibly hard, and has a high basketball IQ. He looks like a player that is ready to contribute at the NBA level right away. The thing that will make or break his campaign to become a star at the NBA level is his shooting. If he can start to consistently knock down his shot, he has the potential to be a star. If he doesn't, he will still have a productive NBA career and contribute to winning. It will just be more as a cog in the machine rather than the key driver. My NBA comp for Jalen Suggs is a passive Russell Westbrook. He has great athleticism and plays physically for a guard just like Westbrook, but he doesn't quite have the same mentality as Westbrook does.